Greetings, greetings, greetings to Awaken Living, where transformation, healing, and alignment comes alive. I am your host, Yali Giovanni, a holistic wellness guide, here to share tools, wisdom, and conversations that awaken your highest self. This is your invitation to live fully, consciously, and in flow with life. Today, we are talking about life as doulas, part two. And Kassandra Ajaluna Carr has rejoined us, as well as Kiyona Miah has rejoined us. And we're going to be talking the good, the bad, and the ugly, and what you should and cannot do, and all that good stuff. So tune in. Don't forget to share, and let's make it poppin', ladies. So, Ajaluna, your business is also holistic, just like all three of us. Your experience also is with herbs. What are herbs that you suggest to your clients that they can use that is beneficial during pregnancy? Because we always hear the bad and what we can't do during
Yeah,
pregnancy as if
yeah.
it's a handicap, but we're not even
Mhm.
going to touch that. But if you can share that information, that'll be great.
Absolutely. So I appreciate the mothers that I've worked with that are open to incorporating herbs.
Yeah.
And just, me, my motto is trust and herb them because, like, it comes from the earth. You want to be able to lean into them. So, a lot of times, red raspberry leaf, that is one that doesn't matter what age you are, you should have that on your shelf in your kitchen.
I
And it's
agree.
something that is safe to use during pregnancy. It's going to prepare the womb, prepare the uterus for birth, for labor, and I encourage all of them to start taking it when they can in their 32 weeks to 37 weeks. Some of them feel that they want to do it more so towards the end when they're right in the 3 week mark before
Hmm.
their actual due date, just because, it does have the potential to induce labor. However, when you modify the potency of it, you reduce that risk. Another thing would be chamomile. Chamomile is just one of those beautiful herbs that can be taken even for children. You can drink it for purposes of heartburn, and you can also drink it for purposes for sleep if you want to drink it right before sleep.
Hmm.
Ginger,
I love
something that
ginger.
we all have, we can grow easily in our own gardens, is going to help with your nausea. It's going to reduce inflammation in the body. It's just one of those that, like, ginger is a staple in all cultures, I feel, and it's very easy to get in the store. So why not have that as well? The nausea for some women has taken place their entire pregnancy,
Yes.
especially if they suffer from HG, which is severe nausea.
Hmm.
And so just being able to drink that with some mint, I've seen where there have been reports where, like, mint is something that, like, stay away from it during pregnancy. And it's like it's going to aid them in their
Exactly what I said. They're always telling
knowledge.
you what not to do when it's good for you.
Yes. And it's one of those things that, like, I encourage, just start out in a low dose. And when I say a low dose, I mean like a teaspoon to 8 ounces or a tablespoon to 8 ounces of boiling water, and see how your body adjusts to it. A lot
Yeah.
of times people think, like, even with herbs, you just pop it in your mouth and it's just like easy fix. And it's like, no, your body
Right.
has to be acclimated. It has to reprogram itself, be in alignment with the herb, and just
Yeah.
wait for it to see what it's going to do. But those are some of the herbs right off the top of my head, things that women know about that I encourage them to just walk in their regular grocery store and attain it. I do
Hmm.
provide the fresh herbs to them as well. Some of them I grow in my own garden. I try
Awesome.
them out for my clients as well in my dehydrator. So it's just one of those things, like, depending upon the need of the specific woman, I
Yeah.
cater to her.
Hey, gratitude for sharing. You know what? It's funny that you say that because I was nauseous with my first pregnancy, but I was only 19 and I was really alone. But one thing I did do was drink the ginger. I didn't
Yeah.
know much about the mint at that time, but growing up in a Caribbean home,
Ginger's
stuff
out.
that you can do without even, it's just automatic for us,
Yeah.
right? So I knew that about the ginger. I drank that ginger tea so much, girl. It was crazy. That girl gave me so much nausea. But anyway, we're not even gonna talk about me.
You can even
um,
chew on the ginger.
yes, and I had the chewable candies. And back then it wasn't as sugary as it is now. It's very sweet now. But Kiana, mindfulness and yoga,
Well, I'm out here learning stuff because I didn't know about the chamomile for heartburn. So I'm like taking some notes right now.
right?
I am definitely
Yeah.
learning. And it's interesting when you mentioned mindfulness and yoga. And if I just want to add to what Cassandra brought up, as far as the herbs and how you can grow things in your own garden, and that's also part of that mindfulness grounding. And
Absolutely.
so if you know that there are herbs you wanted to have on hand, specifically like mint, that's easy to grow. Some stuff, might not be as easy for us if you're new to gardening, but mint is pretty easy to grow. And so, being able to nurture and water that plant is something that could be a beautiful practice,
Yeah,
mindful practice to do throughout your pregnancy. And then it serves two purposes. You're putting your hand in the earth to help ground you. It's
absolutely.
giving you some time of stillness and reflection and pause. And then also is giving you producing something that you could use throughout your pregnancy. So I think that could be a beautiful mindfulness practice for women throughout
Yeah,
pregnancy for sure.
that's amazing. The hand in the earth, the feet in the earth, and for me also, I suggest to stand in the sun if they have access to sun. Even if it's only 5 minutes, right? Because that's enough to regenerate and to give you to reboost your energy. For me, one of the things I share with my moms, because I deal with a few moms that have traumas, and I share where you can take 5 minutes and release whatever hurt you're feeling because you don't want to transmute that energy into your baby. And I usually use myself as an example as opposed to another client with my first daughter. Like I cried every stinking day of that pregnancy. When I tell you every day, there was not one day I did not cry. One, because I was 19. Two, because it was like I had just lost my virginity. Like, what the heck? Right. And then three, it was like I was alone. And then it was like, oh my gosh, what the heck I'm going to do with my life? Because my intention was to go to college. However, what that did to my child when she was born, as beautifully as she came out, child, she cried so much. I wanted to pull my hair, even look for doctors because my doctor didn't want to do it. I wanted to tie my tubes. That's how much she cried so much. So, because of that experience and other experiences that I've had with other mothers, I always share to release whatever pain or trauma that comes up, not go digging for it, but comes up because we know when we're pregnant that we go through so many emotional and hormonal changes that things come up and you want to release it. You don't want to keep it because it's going to that energy is going to be transmuted to your child. No way around it, right? Because energy transfers.
Yes, it
It
is.
doesn't die. So that's one of the things that I use as far as mindfulness with some of the moms, especially when they bring it up, because everybody don't share their experiences. So once
Yeah.
they share it, and I'm not going to dig either because I don't want to impose. However, when they do share it, I say, hey, take 5 minutes, get you a little book. I have given a little journal for one of the moms where she sit down, hey, take 5 minutes, release that because you want a healthy baby that's going to come in. You want that baby to sleep all the time, right? Okay, girl, 'cause let's make this happen because at the end of the day, a crying baby is not easy. Your nerves are shot, you're emotional, everything is going through your mind. Girl, okay, you like take this baby, and you don't want that. You want to be able to bond. So that's one of the things that I share as far as mindfulness with my client.
Yeah, it's something I do for mine as well.
Yeah,
Often,
I was
yeah,
gonna say journaling is so huge because everybody doesn't want to talk.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Everybody can't put words to speak out, but being
right.
able to journal is a huge benefit.
Yeah. So as far as yoga, Kiyana,
Mhm.
is there a particular pose that you prefer to share with your clients? Because I have one particular pose, and I know there's a lot of poses in yoga, but there's only one particular pose that I usually share with my clients. But with you, is there any one particular pose that you share?
Well, when we're getting ready to prepare for birth, it's definitely deep squats and a lot of hip mobility work.
Yeah,
So, we like to do our goddess pose. We
yeah.
like to do malasana, which is a deep squat
Hmm.
with support. I think the biggest thing that I like to share with my clients in terms of yoga throughout pregnancy is use your tools. I
Yeah,
teach yoga with props in general to everybody as
right,
much as I can, but especially to my prenatal clients, I like to remind them we have bolsters, we have which is a long pillow. We
right,
have blocks, we have straps for a reason, and use those things. Your body is different. It's navigating around this belly,
right.
and so use those props to assist you in your practice. Even if you are a person who's been practicing for years, utilize those props because we want to most importantly make sure that it is safe,
Yeah,
and that you are feeling good in your body. And so those props will support you in the practice.
absolutely. And I agree with what you said. You have to feel safe within your body. Because we can make all the suggestions we want, but if they're not feeling comfortable with the asanas, then it's not going to work. But one of the ones that I love to share with them. Listen, it might come across as lazy, but for me, it's very relaxing and it's soothing. It's the goddess pose, but is the other one that I really like is the frog, right? And the reason why I said lazy is because it's so easy, right? But I like it because whenever I put myself in that pose mentally, to me, it feels freeing and it allows me to connect. So if I'm feeling that, I'm thinking they're going to feel that as well, right? Especially during birth. Most of the I had one new client that came in last week and she wants everything natural. She doesn't want any medication, no Tylenol, not even Tylenol, y'all. She don't want anything because she wants to experience the natural birth. And I've experienced natural birth. And that pain is no joke. And I feel like in that position, you have sort of a control of yourself through the birth and through the post as well. And I think it will be easy. That's why I said it's kind of lazy, but I know it's not lazy. It's just me talking. But that's the pose that I prefer during pregnancy and delivery. So what has been your experience as a doula so far? Because I know we have increased clients like crazy since the last 2 times we've spoken.
I would say having multiple births in a month is not for the faint of heart, especially when you have a plethora of other things going on.
Yeah.
For those that do not know, I'm also a CPA, so trying to balance both births as well as that work was not something I expected. It definitely was great to experience, I'm not going to lie, because each woman came from a different background culturally. They
Okay.
had different types of births and experiences. They had different types of partnerships. So it was very beautiful to see how they navigated those spaces, even the differing hospitals that they gave birth in, which I know is going to be a topic for another time. But it definitely has been an amazing experience for me. It has also shifted how I view motherhood, how I view giving birth, and just the fact that everyone's like, oh, it's such a blessing to have a baby. It's so beautiful. And yes, it is. But getting with the reality of how the medical space has been extremely eye opening.
So share just one tip that you have learned.
I have a full understanding, if not before, of why doulas are important, why it is important to use your voice and
Yes.
not feel guilty for using your voice. How I've seen how women have said, I don't want these people in here. I would rather have someone else work with me. I've seen how the differing medical professionals, whether it's a man or a woman, how they've navigated the birthing space.
Yeah.
It's been very eye opening. But like I said, I'm grateful for being able to see that and also to educate new clients that come to me about, okay, this is what I've seen. Because one of the things that they always were like, so what have you seen before?
Yeah.
How are other mothers? What can you suggest to me? And it's like you want to be honest. Like one of the things I operate with integrity and being honest is
Yeah.
something I always want to do with my clients because I want them to trust me, especially in a space where they are potentially risking their lives. And I want to ensure that they feel 110%, 1,000% fully
Absolutely.
comfortable in that space with me being there for them.
And that's good that you have experienced that and able to share. Because
Yes.
based on the years of experience that I've had in the medical field, not the doula field, in the medical field, in obstetrics and gynecology, is that has become like a factory. Doctors don't want to spend too much time. They have no patience. They just want to be called when you're about to deliver. The bedside manners has gone out the window. Empathy, sympathy, all that is no longer. And I've seen, y'all, this was from the late 1990s up until now. I have seen the decline in compassionate care.
Mm.
And so for you to be able to witness that so you can share with your clients, voice what you need and don't feel bad about it. Be unapologetic about what you want because at the end of the day, it's your life.
Yes.
You're between life and death when you're delivering. And that's a fact. Let's not sugarcoat that, right? So in that essence, you don't want to give over your rights and give over your power and control fully trusting that the doctor has your best
interest at heart.
Gratitude for sharing that because that's really important. Kiyona, what has been your experience?
I think I've had a similar experience where becoming a doula has shown me how much doulas are needed and why doulas are needed. Because I think that the lines oftentimes get very blurred on what
Yeah.
is a doula versus what is a midwife and
Yeah.
why do you need both. Because I've heard specifically someone say, well, I don't need a doula because I have a midwife. And I'm like, well, we don't have the same role. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And so being in that space of now actually witnessing more and more births, I see, okay, this is why a doula is needed. You know, hearing the gratitude, not just from the mothers, but even from the fathers specifically.
Yeah.
I think it really reinforces why doulas are needed for families, not just
Yeah.
for mom. And we, as much as we can say that over and over again, I
Mm-hmm.
think for some men it takes for them to experience the support, for them
Yes.
to say, oh, this is what you meant when you say that I work for the entire family. I do.
Yeah.
And so they don't, a lot of times men are so used to being, I'm strong, I'm tough, I can handle anything, I got this. And so it transfers and it goes into childbirth. They think it can, no, I can do it all. And
Right.
when they recognize that, oh, you know what, I'm worthy of support too. And this is helpful for me so that I could support my wife.
Yeah.
I think that has been super eye opening for me. Is not just seeing how we show up for the moms, but also seeing how we show up for the other family members and seeing that get appreciated
Yeah.
and respected. And, you know, sometimes people think of a doula as this is for someone's first birth, but no, like my clients are like, we calling you back. One of my clients was like, I don't care if you leave, we flying you out. And it's like, it's not just, oh, I want you because this is my first birth, I'm going into the unknown. Like
Yeah.
people experience, they love the experience so much that they say, okay, in subsequent births, I want to ensure that I always have a doula.
Right.
And I think that's important. So
And to
that's something I've
piggyback off of what you just said, every birth is different.
learned.
So you're not going to experience what you had the first one, second or third. So it's a good thing that we are growing as doulas. And when I say we, I'm talking about doulas in general, all over the world. We're bringing that back because at one point there was no such thing as an obstetrics physician. It was midwife and doula, right? And so they removed that so that they can gain control and do whatever they want. And now it has become an issue over the years. It's not now, it's an issue over the years, and it has grown so much that we started to pay attention. And paying attention with awareness and bringing back what used to work is important now, today, and having a doula. And it's interesting sometimes when I speak about doula, introducing myself here and talking about it here in Georgia, where I'm at. A lot of people still don't know about doula work. They still don't know what a doula is. They don't know what that is. They never heard of the word, let alone what it is, and sharing that information. The simplest way I say, it's like a coach. When you're pregnant, we're kind of like a coach. And then if you want to differentiate the midwives with the doula, I said, well, the midwife is like the doctor and the doula is like the nurse, so that they can have some type of comparison in their head as to what it is that we are. But we do much more because we are support, which is not what the nurses do, right? Yeah, they support, but they're in the room when you're about to deliver. They're not with you throughout your pregnancy. They're not helping you, with the different things that you need throughout your pregnancy. But it's the easiest way for me to explain so that they can have some type of understanding of what a doula and a midwife is. And to piggyback, Kiyona, about what you said in regards to the importance of having both, because we're not the same. And they do confuse doulas with midwives, right? Very often they confuse the roles and the responsibilities of the doula and the midwives. But again, it's making awareness be one of the top priorities for us in general, sharing more about what it is a doula does for pregnancies, postpartum doulas, in the life, and I shared before, in the life is one of my favorite role as a doula. I find that to be very gratifying to see people release and let go and ascend in peace. I really enjoy that part of this work. I do. I do. So yeah, I really appreciate what we have become as far as doula and the doula work and how we're growing in this work, because it's not easy. It takes an emotional toll on us as well.
Physical too,
Yeah.
because what people don't recognize is that it's a physical job.
Yeah.
I think, and this is probably a topic for our next conversation,
Hmm.
self-care for doulas is important. And if you don't really build that into your practice, you will
Yeah.
easily get burnt out. And so it is not just an emotional weight that we carry, it can be a
Right.
physical one too, because we are in some cases providing physical support. We are holding up our mother
Absolutely.
physically in some ways, holding up legs, holding up heads, holding up different parts of the body when they don't have the strength
Yeah.
to lean on us. And so it is physical as well as emotional.
Yeah.
Watching people ride that wave of, I don't know if I could do this. And
Yeah.
through that, it can be a lot on you. So
Yeah.
for sure.
So how do you release that in the midst of you experiencing that, right? Especially when we see the emotions. Oh my God, you have that burst of energy where I'm ready to give birth. And then the next minute you're like, I don't know, I can do this. And we experience that very often. How do you mitigate through that?
But for me, one of the things as doulas is that we encourage our clients to do a birth story, to write out their birth story, but I also write my own. And so that is
Okay.
also a way of releasing. And I give it to my clients. So it is, they get what I call a birth report. And I write
Mhm.
out how things went throughout the
Mhm.
birth and the milestones throughout the birth so that they can have it. But that is also my way of releasing.
Yeah.
And then also I take time for rest. If I'm able to, I rest a lot after.
Okay.
I get massages. So that those are some of the ways that I release. And then when you have your trusted partners, so be it Kassandra, we're on the phone like, okay, this happened and this was tough.
Yeah.
Or we had this challenge, I didn't know what to do in this situation, and we'll talk it out. And so
Yeah.
having different people that you can kind of like talk out some things that might not have gone as planned and get some solutions, and having those sounding boards of people who get it. Because of
Yeah.
course, in your family, they're going to listen to you, but they don't really get what it's like to be in this position. So I
Right.
think having other doulas around you is an important way to release it.
So having a support group, would you say, is
Hmm.
important?
Yep.
Yeah, I find that to be encouraging. I love to hear everybody's stories because no, listen, it doesn't matter if 10 of us, not one of us have the same or similar story. They're always unique. And it's like, what? But it also kind of like prepares us just in case we're gonna experience that, right? So I agree with you with that, Kiyona, is having that support group where we can share unapologetically and not being judged. Because at the end of the day, like you said, it's physical and emotional, and it can be draining and it can be empowering at the same time. Kassandra, what you think? What has been your experience?
For me, after this last month, I definitely realized that I do need to create more space.
Hmm.
Usually, I'm one to book a flight and just go. So I've been trying to figure out, instead of booking a flight, what can I do locally? Usually for
Okay.
my moms, though, at the end in their postpartum period, I create an herbal bath for them. So it's
Cute.
a variety of different herbs. We light some candles, we put on some nice music, maybe they'll watch something, and we
Hmm.
just create space for them to just lead into where they are in their new chapter of motherhood,
Yeah.
who they're becoming as this new woman. And I
Hmm.
like to be able to have that time for myself too, to be like, wow, we made it. We did
Yeah.
it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I really feel that I have gratitude, not even just for being able to see and share that space with them, but to see that this woman has been impacted powerfully in the
Yeah.
space. Just like how Kiyona had mentioned, how the husbands, the partners are just as happy and fulfilled in the space, seeing how the men react, even
Yeah.
the postpartum period, letting them know that, like, what kind of postpartum symptoms are you going through, and encouraging them to share and have grace for themselves as they're navigating fatherhood. So it's been one of those, like, you learn as you go, just like every birth for the woman is different.
Yeah.
Every doula work is different. For some,
Absolutely.
it's a little bit more draining than others, but it's been just rewarding at the end of the day. Like, I love the fact that I can do this. I love the fact that I'm able to lean on my herbs and create those spaces for them. Like, it's just been amazing.
That it's funny because I was talking to a dad that experienced resistance while they were at the hospital, and he said that he had to put his foot down. My
Mm.
wife is saying this, and we're not moving on until this is addressed, right? And seeing that, I applauded him because not only did he validate her, he was committed to the process. Some people don't know what to do, even if he didn't know what to do, but he felt like standing, what we call standing on business. Listen, she is sharing this. Why you ignoring her? Why you not answering this question? Why aren't you addressing this? Here you are talking about something else, but you're still not coming back to what she's saying. No, let's address what she's saying. This is what she's saying. Let's talk about it. And the fact that he was able to say, you know what, this is gonna be addressed right now, and we're not moving on. That is so needed. Do you know how many women out there don't have that support?
Yeah.
You know, and it's see that growing amongst men in all races. It's growing all, you know, men among all races. It's beautiful to see that they understand, they're becoming to understand more and more how important it is to be supported,
Yes.
you know. And yes, deal with the mood swings, you know, deal with the emotions. We in this together. And at the end of the day, some men do experience the postpartum too. They experience the pregnancy too,
Yes, it is.
you know. So like you said, Kiyona, being there for the family, because that's who we work for. We work for the families, not just the mom to be.
Yes.
At all. Gratitude for sharing what we have just discussed in regards to herbs, in regards to mindfulness, in regards to being a support system to the family, in regards to father stepping up. I do appreciate this conversation. I'm so grateful for y'all. Any last words you guys would like to leave for the community?
Yeah, sure. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, all social media platforms at Ajaluna Wellness. That's AJALUNA Wellness. And my website is www.ajaluna.com.
I'm thankful for this space. I'm thankful for this calling. It's not always easy, but it's definitely very fulfilling. And so I'm grateful to be here, and I'm grateful to share this space with you all. And if you'd like to connect further, I'm at key2shanti.com. That's KIY, the number 2, SHANTI, and on social media as the same, Key2Shanti. So thank you so much.
Gratitude, ladies. And of course, we'll have another episode. But until then, gratitude for joining me on this journey of awakened living. May the insight practices we share today inspire you to live with more peace, presence, and purpose. If this episode touched your spirit and soul, I invite you to share it, subscribe, and leave a review so that together we can awaken more lives. To connect more deeply, visit yaligiovanni.com. Follow Yali Giovanni across all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. Yali Giovanni. Any resources you may need, you can find it on all of our websites as well. Gratitude for joining us once again. Until next time, remember, your light is sacred, your journey is divine, and awakening begins within.